Okay, 7th graders, we're going to try this again. We're going to do the same strategy, the get the gist strategy, to write a summary. So it's going to be short summary. We're going to read through the text. Then we're going to answer some questions, the who, what, when, where, why, how. And then use that information to write a short summary. We're going to use just the first part of that article that you read yesterday. So here we go. Stress and gender, common triggers, and how to cope. If you've had a stressful day, what do you do? Talk with friends or a partner about it, or withdraw and keep to yourself? How you answer that may depend on your gender. While it is a generalized statement, there are ways in which men and women tend to handle stress differently, explains health psychologist Shyla Murgain, PhD. Women often use emotion-focused coping. They change their emotional reactions to stress by using what psychologists call tending and befriending. In other words, they reach out and talk with others about the issues affecting them. Murgain continues by explaining that men tend to turn to problem-focused coping. They are more likely to go into fight or flight mode and take action, or try to problem solve, a coping mechanism that can sometimes cause friction between the genders. When a woman shares her stress, she's not necessarily looking for a solution. She's looking to engage with those around her. The problem is that sometimes a male friend or partner may want to offer ways of solving the cause of the stress, which can leave the woman feeling like she's not being heard or her experience is valued, says Murgain. Women are also more likely than men to internalize stress and beat themselves up mentally. As a result, women are more vulnerable to experiencing anxiety and depression than men. Men, on the other hand, are more likely to externalize stress and take their frustrations out on others. This makes them more vulnerable to acts of violence or turning to drugs and alcohol to cope. Okay, so we read through that. We want to do the who, what, why, how. Once again, we're not going to worry about the when and where. So the who. Go back and skim through it and you'll see, okay, the who, this is all about men and women. So that's the who. Men and women what? Well, let's look right here. Men and women tend to handle stress differently. So men and women handle stress differently. Okay, the why and how. So, and this is where I know yesterday it was kind of confusing, but let's go why and how. Like how, let's just expand the men and women handle stress differently. Okay, how do women handle stress? According to this article. So according to this article, women use emotion-focused coping. Examples of emotion-focused coping. We've got the tending, befriending that we had in the other article too. But women talk. Men, how do men handle stress? According to this article. They, unlike women who do the emotion-focused coping, men tend to turn to problem-focused coping. Example that goes along with this is they try to problem solve. They try to solve their problem. So if we go here, we've got the who, men and women, what, handle stress differently, the why, how, explanation, women, emotion-focused coping, men, problem-focused coping. So how do we put this all into a summary? How are we going to start it? Remember, we're going to go back. You want the title and the author. So in Stress and Gender, Common Triggers and How to Cope, Dr. Murgain, you can say says, states, explains, however you want to. Explains what? Okay. Explains men and women handle stress differently. Men and women handle stress differently. Who and what. And then do a little short explanation that goes along with it. Okay? I know this time it's going to be better than last. Let's do it.